You worked as budget officer for a movie Spider-Man No Way Home. The budget for direct labor for this movie includes payment to Tom Holland, who plays the lead role as teenager Peter Parker, superhero Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, who both play Peter Parker, Spider-Man, in alternate universes, Alfred Molina as villain Doc Ock, the film director John Watts, Zendaya, who plays MJ, or all of the above. What would be your answer? Before revealing the right answer, let's discuss first direct labor. Direct labor is the cost of labor that can practically be traced to a cost object, such as a product or service. In other words, this refers to those who are directly involved in producing products or providing the services. In manufacturing company, this refers to salaries and wages to factory workers. Assuming a factory worker has 8 working hours in one day, you can easily trace that he spent 6 hours for a certain job order, while 2 hours was spent on another job order. How about the plant supervisor? Can you consider him as direct labor? It's the function of a plant supervisor to manage the factory workers. He's not directly involved in making the product, and his cost cannot practically be traced to a certain job or product, therefore cannot be considered direct labor. Now back to the question. Which of the following can be considered as direct labor? The answer is all of the above. Direct labor in a movie includes actors, directors, editors, and film crew. All of them can easily be traced or identified to a certain movie. So I hope you got this right. Let's have a second question. The budget for direct materials for a movie excludes film production equipment, costume, sets, or props. Now let's discuss direct materials. Direct material costs are costs of materials that can practically be traced to a product or service. Aside from purchase price, cost also includes freight charges, custom duties, and other taxes. Now back to the question. Which of the following is not a direct material? The answer is film production equipment. Film production equipment are recorded first as fixed asset. Once they are depreciated, they are now considered as production overhead. However, production overhead is not part of direct materials. Let's move on to our third question. The direct costs for a movie exclude payment to screenwriters, director, utilities in editing studio, or cinematographer. Let's compare direct costs and indirect costs. Direct costs can be traced to a particular product or service in an economically feasible way. They include direct materials and direct labor, while indirect costs cannot be traced to a particular product or service in an economically feasible way. Examples are indirect labor, indirect materials, and manufacturing overhead. In our question where it pertains to a movie, utilities in editing studio are indirect costs. Screenwriters, director, and cinematographer are all part of direct labor and therefore considered as direct costs. Next is question number 5. The product costs of a movie exclude depreciation of film production equipment, payment to editors, promotion cost, or all of the above. In this case, let's differentiate product cost and period cost. Product costs, also called inventoriable costs, are all costs of a product that are recorded as assets when they are incurred. When the product is subsequently sold, these costs are recorded as cost of sales. In merchandising company, the purchase price of the product along with its freight are recorded first as merchandise inventory. When an item is sold, this cost will be recorded as cost of sales. It is a little bit complex for a manufacturing company. Raw materials and component parts are first recorded as raw materials inventory when purchased. Then these materials will be issued to the factory. Combined with direct labor and factory overhead, they comprise the manufacturing costs. These manufacturing costs are recorded first as work-in-process inventory. When product is completed, the cost will be recorded as finished goods inventory. When product is subsequently sold, the cost will be considered as cost of sales. In terms of making a movie, the direct materials, direct labor, and production overhead are first recognized as an asset. When the movie is ready for release, these costs will be considered as cost of sales. Now back to the question. Which of the following is not part of the product cost? The answer is promotion cost. This is because selling and marketing costs are period costs, which is the topic of the next question. So here's the question. The period costs for a movie include payment to film crews, salaries of corporate senior management, studio rent, or all of the above. So what are period costs? Period costs are expensed when incurred, meaning they are not capitalized as assets when incurred. They are not part of cost of sales. They are recorded as selling and administrative expenses, and they don't have future economic benefit. Although some costs, such as R&D costs, may have future economic benefit, they are recorded as expense when incurred. This is due to high degree of uncertainty on if and when this economic benefit will happen. Back to the question, which of the following is period cost for a movie? The answer is salaries of corporate senior management. Corporate senior management costs include salaries of CFO and CEO. These costs are recorded as general and administrative expenses, and therefore part of period costs. Also considered as period costs are selling, marketing, and distribution costs. Let's go ahead to the next question. The prime cost for the movie excludes payment to cameraman, costumes, allocated production overhead, or payment to screenwriters. What are prime costs? They are costs that are directly attributable to a product. They include all the direct manufacturing costs. Direct manufacturing costs means direct materials and direct labor. In our question, prime cost will exclude allocated production overhead. The other choices are considered as prime cost. Let's have another question. The conversion cost of a movie excludes depreciation of studio, payment to actors, sets and props, or payment to production designer. Now, what are conversion costs? Conversion costs are all manufacturing costs incurred to convert direct materials into finished goods. It's composed of direct labor and manufacturing overhead. In other words, it includes all the manufacturing costs other than the direct material costs. In our question, sets and props are direct materials, and therefore not part of conversion costs. How about another question? The administrative expenses of an entertainment company exclude cost of distribution, human resources department, finance director, all of the above. Let's compare administrative expenses and selling expenses. Administrative expenses are incurred not directly related to producing or marketing the product. They may be incurred as a benefit to the company as a whole. They are presented in the income statement below the cost of sales. They are incurred regardless of the level of production or sales in a given period. Most of them are fixed costs. They can be eliminated without direct impact on the production or sales of goods and services. Selling expenses, on the other hand, are costs associated with distributing, marketing, and selling a product or service. Like administrative expenses, they're presented in the income statement below the cost of sales. Among our choices of answer, cost of human resources department and finance director fit the definition of administrative expenses. Cost of distribution is a selling expense, therefore the correct answer. Now down to our final question. The proper cost of accumulation system for a movie is process costing, job order costing, or none of the above. Let's discuss cost accumulation system. Cost accumulation system is a process of collecting all the relevant data regarding various costs incurred for a certain cost object, whether such cost object is a company, product, job, or a project. There are two main types of cost accumulation system. When producing products with individual characteristics, job order costing is an appropriate system. It is also appropriate for customized products. Under this system, costs are attached to specific jobs. When products are identical and mass-produced on a continuous basis, process costing is an appropriate system. The costs are attached to specific stages of production or specific departments. Back to our question. The proper cost accumulation system for a movie is job order costing. This is because each movie is unique to each other in terms of story, actors, genre, settings, location, music, and special effects. This is the reason why some movies are more expensive than others. I hope you enjoy and learn a lot from this video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell icon for more updates. To all learners, thanks for watching. For related videos, click the links in the description box below, or click these end screens.